Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The topic of today's video is train wreck. Two simple words when put together creating the perfect imagery used to describe the Biden administration, many politicians, but in the context of this video, absolute disaster train wreck political campaigns that have just become global laughing stocks. When you think about the Republican Party right now, you think about two names, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Those two names are the future of the Republican Party. And of course the establishment, both the Democrat establishment and Republican establishment, the neocon establishment at least, we should probably create a little bit of a distinction there, but they're doing everything in their power to stop the rise of what is known as Ultra MAGA. Failed in Arizona as Kari Lake is now officially declared the winner, and well, it's pretty much failing everywhere else as well. But nowhere is it failing as spectacularly, as hilariously, and as pathetically as in the state of Florida. The establishment has been desperately trying to get rid of Ron DeSantis basically since he won his election back in 2018, and despite the millions of dollars they've spent, despite all the propaganda and hit pieces and phony attacks coming from the media, it's just not working. But apparently, a little Florida politician named Nikki Fried, or rather we like to call her Nikki Fried, Nikki Brain Fried, well, she just hasn't gotten the memo yet. Even though every couple months the truth or reality seems to hit her directly in the face. You guys remember when Nikki Fried hosted a public event and we were able to count the amount of people that showed up on both hands? Well, Nikki Fried this time probably said to herself, well, if people aren't going to show up physically to my events, then let's do it virtually. And well, what ended up happening is yet again another absolutely embarrassing moment for Nikki Brain Fried, as not a single reporter showed up to her online virtual event. Literally not one person. The establishment effort to take down Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump is failing spectacularly, and I got a couple examples to show you guys basically to make that point. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this tweet right over here from Benny Johnson. LOL, DeSantis' opponent Nikki Brain Fried held a virtual press event with health experts. She asked if there were any questions from members of the media, and none of them showed up. Take a look at this absolutely embarrassing moment.
For the media that is here today, and maybe if there's any other questions too that, or anything else you want to add when they're answering the questions, feel free to also.
Journalists, if you have questions, please type them into the chat box at this time. We'll give it just a minute. Okay, seeing no questions, Commissioner Fried, do you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Absolutely.
I mean, you see exactly what I mean when I say train wreck. Nikki Fried and of course Nikki Fried's campaign has to be the biggest disaster of 2022. The only thing is, like I keep saying, I think she's the only person who hasn't received the memo that she's not going to win. She's been releasing tweets like this for months now. We're going to make Ron DeSantis a one-term governor. Continues to imply that she's going to take on Ron DeSantis and beat him. But Nikki, how are you possibly going to beat Ron DeSantis if you can't even beat your Democrat primary opponent, who you are currently behind at 25% in the most recent poll, and the guy that you're trailing 25% happens to be this guy? I mean, this guy's basically the human embodiment, the personification of dad jeans. If dad jeans had a face, it would be this. This guy belongs in the same category of cringe as Terry McAuliffe from the 2021 Virginia election and Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate from 2016. And this is the person that Nikki Fried is trailing 25 points. You aren't winning. You aren't winning your own primary, let alone taking on Ron DeSantis. And you're so uninteresting as a candidate that even mainstream Democrat shill journalists don't want to show up to your virtual events, let alone your public events. I mean, what an absolute disaster, and no wonder there's no interest in Nikki Fried's campaign. I mean, her message is completely pathetic. Here's her most recent campaign ad.
Florida's had 46 governors. Some good, some bad. And one depends on which way the wind's blowing. But with Roe gone, our cost of living out of control, and no ban on assault weapons, we have to try something new.
I'm Nikki Fried. I'm your only statewide elected Democrat. Only pro-choice Democrat. Only Democrat to have never taken a dime from the NRA. I'll beat Ron DeSantis and be a governor you can finally be proud of.
And of course, she's using imagery trying to tell a story visually, visual storytelling. Well, what's the story you think she's telling here? Vote for me because I'm not a white male like all the other previous governors of the state of Florida. Wow, a seriously powerful message. No, nobody cares. And of course, the leftist cop-out would be, well, nobody's taking her seriously because whammon. No, of course not. Nobody's taking her seriously because she's a literal communist, as far left on the political spectrum as they come. That doesn't work in the great Sunshine State. It's basically that simple. A complete embarrassing train wreck that I just can't keep my eyes off of. It's one of the primaries and one of the campaigns that I've followed the most throughout this entire election, or election season rather, headed into 2022, because it's just so sad yet entertaining at the same time. And speaking of sad and entertaining, speaking of establishment train wrecks trying to take down Donald Trump or America First candidates, we have Liz Cheney, who in her last-ditch effort to turn the election around in Wyoming, well, she decided that she was going to go the Meghan McCain route.
My father's my father. My father, 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 my father.
In the final moment, heading into the Republican primary in the state of Wyoming, Liz Cheney summons Republican superhero, or wait, did I say superhero? I meant supervillain, her father, Dick Cheney.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters. He lost his election, and he lost big. I know it, he knows it, and deep down, I think most Republicans know it. Lynn and I are so proud of Liz for standing up for the truth, doing what's right, honoring her oath to the Constitution, when so many in our party are too scared to do so. Liz is fearless. She never backs down from a fight. There is nothing more important she will ever do than lead the effort to make sure Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office. And she will succeed. I am Dick Cheney. I proudly voted for my daughter. I hope you will too.
I'm Liz Cheney, and I approve this message.
I mean, talk about a train wreck. This is about as sad as watching Democrats side with George Bush in their attacks against Donald Trump. Yeah, you're not exactly making the point that you think you are. As if summoning Dick Cheney is going to turn this whole thing around. I mean, the guy's got an aura of evil around him. That Dick Cheney campaign ad, I think, is more likely to give people nightmares than it is to send people to the polls to vote for Liz. But the beautiful thing is, friends, that we're seeing a trend here. They tried taking down Carrie Lake. Fox News wouldn't even give her airtime. The establishment spent millions to try to take her down. She ended up winning every single county in the state of Arizona. Nearly every single Republican impeachment voter has been drained out of the swamp. Liz Cheney, of course, being the next one to go. The state of Florida, led by political superstar Ron DeSantis, continues to get redder and redder and redder, turning into a Republican stronghold. And the establishment efforts to take down Republican leaders there are not just falling short, they're so insignificant they're not even popping up on the radar. You can't stop the Trump train, bringing in a major cargo load of ultra MAGA. But that's what I got for you guys in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. I'm gonna get back to work. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.